The most powerful man in football spent this weekend denying an affair. And honestly, that's the least of his problems. Because on the 7th of August, the Telegraph published. And UEFA responded. And UEFA did not say no. UEFA confirmed a payment was made. Confirmed it. Then argued it was perfectly legal. In line with the regulations that existed for departing staff at the time, they said. Not, it didn't happen. It happened. And here's where it gets mad. This story is not the reason Gianni Infantino might lose his job. 9 minutes. The allegation. The ultimatum. The $20 billion land grab. And the arithmetic that decides all of it. Friday night, 7th of August, 2026. 8:12 in the evening, London time. The Telegraph goes live. The claim that while he ran UEFA, Infantino had a relationship with a junior female employee. The years matter here. 2009 to 2016. Infantino is General Secretary. He runs the building. She was in an administrative role. Then, according to the Telegraph, she wasn't. A junior employee. He was General Secretary. 2009 to 2016. Promoted into management. And colleagues, the report says, were surprised. Not pleased. Not indifferent. Surprised. That single word is doing enormous work here. The promotion came with a pay rise. 30%. Roughly £147,000 a year. 160,000 Swiss francs. Taking the salary to around 160,000 Swiss francs. About £147,000. A year. Now, on its own, that's not a scandal. People get promoted. People get raises. Football's full of them. The question is why. And the question is who signed it off. That's where this gets serious. One thing before we go further. She has not been named. By anyone. She has not spoken. Hold on to that. Infantino's response was not a shrug. It was a hammer. Strongly denies. Categorically untrue. And any insinuation, FIFA says, is defamatory. That's a legal threat with a press release attached. FIFA said the allegations were categorically untrue, and that any insinuation of inappropriate conduct was defamatory. And this line, which is doing a lot of work, no employee at UEFA or FIFA has ever raised a complaint about his behavior. Which is a very precise sentence. No complaint was raised. That is not the same as nothing happened. And that gap matters. Because of what the Telegraph says happened next, inside UEFA, at the very top. Staff, reportedly, escalated it. They went over Infantino's head. To the president of UEFA. Think what that takes. He runs the building. You walk straight past him, upstairs. Michel Platini. The man who, back then, was Infantino's boss. 3 Ballons d'Or. King of European football. The man everyone assumed would run FIFA. And according to sources, Platini gave him a choice. 2 words. Her, or you. Another version, either you go, or she goes. No HR process. Just an ultimatum. Infantino, the report says, replied, she will leave. And she left. And one source puts it brutally, he made a mistake that nearly cost him his career. One source put it like this, he made a big mistake that nearly cost him his career. Nearly. 11 years on, he runs world football. And Platini? Platini has said nothing. Not one word. And knowing those 2 men, that silence is deafening. And given the history between those 2 men, silence from Michel Platini is its own kind of noise. Now, the bit FIFA cannot spin. Because on this, UEFA didn't deny anything. UEFA explained. Quote, a departure payment was made to the individual in question, coupled with the payment of fees for an MBA course. The sum, per the Telegraph's follow-up, more than £150,000. And Infantino was reportedly barred from signing it off. Conflict of interest. Plus a business school MBA. Paid for. Fees covered. UEFA disputes none of it, it just says the rules allowed it. Rules tightened in 2016. UEFA's defense? The payment was in line with the regulations that existed for departing staff at the time. Read that again. The defense isn't it didn't happen. The defense is, it was allowed. UEFA also added that those rules have been tightened since 2016. Which is a sentence with a shadow on it. And here's the detail that should worry him most. Infantino was reportedly barred from authorizing that package. Conflict of interest. Because that means somebody, back in 2016, already saw a problem. And handled it quietly. So, can an 8-year-old HR file bring down a FIFA president? On its own, no chance. But this isn't on its own. Rewind 10 days. 28th of July. Reuters drops a story that makes the Telegraph exclusive look like a warm-up act. FIFA had a plan. Build a brand new company. Put the commercial rights to the World Cup inside it. Then sell a slice of that company. Not to a broadcaster. Not to a sponsor. To private equity. The valuation on the table? $20 billion. A new entity holding World Cup commercial rights. Up to 20% sold off. Joshua Kushner's Thrive Capital leading. JP Morgan raising it. The slice on offer? Up to 20%. A fifth of the biggest event on earth. Leading the raise, Joshua Kushner's Thrive Capital. Running the process, JP Morgan. Yes. That Kushner family. Read that back. The World Cup. Your World Cup. Listed as an asset class. Not a tournament. A revenue stream with a multiple attached. Something you buy a slice of and flip. And here's where it gets mad. Reports say Infantino didn't just present the plan to his members. He priced their vote. Back the plan, or forego $40 million in funding. That was the reported message. Plus $20 million each if they signed by the 19th of September. Carrot in one hand. Stick in the other. Approve it by the 19th of September and $20 million lands in your federation's account. Carrot and stick in the same breath. That isn't a consultation. That's a deadline with a price tag. Europe didn't blink. Europe went nuclear. Because the line back wasn't about money. It is not FIFA's to sell, they said. None of us are the owners of football. 55 national associations. One position. Boycott FIFA competitions if this goes ahead. Unanimous. Then CONCACAF rejected it. Then Asia. A senior FIFA advisor resigned. And UEFA's line was the best sentence anyone has written about football in years. It is not FIFA's to sell. None of us are the owners of football. CONCACAF said no. The Asian Confederation said no. A senior FIFA advisor walked out of the building. 31st of July. Infantino scrapped the whole thing. Pulled. Dead. Before it ever reached a single vote. 3 days. From $20 billion to bind. Leaked on the 28th. Buried on the 31st. That's not strategy, that's a man losing the room. If he thought that ended it, he misread the room completely. Because Europe hadn't been negotiating. Europe had been counting. Because you can withdraw a proposal. You cannot withdraw the fact that you made it. 1st of August. UEFA said the thing you are never supposed to say out loud about a sitting FIFA president. Lost confidence in his presidency. And then, no option should be off the table. Read that second half again. Everything is now on the table. Everything. Legal action threatened. Against FIFA itself. And against Kushner. CONCACAF demanded a reckoning. Serbia, Sweden and Wales pulled support. FIFRO said, profound abuse of power. CONCACAF demanded a reckoning. Serbia, Sweden and Wales pulled their support. Norway went further and called for him to resign. 6th of August. Crisis meeting in Morocco. The management board backed him. He apologized. UEFA's verdict on the apology? It changes nothing. and the players' union, FIFRO, reached for 4 brutal words. Profound abuse of power. And then, the very next evening, the Telegraph hit publish. 7th of August. 12 minutes past 8 at night. Into an organization already bleeding. That's the bit that matters. The payoff story didn't land on a strong president. It landed on a bleeding one. So can they actually remove him? Let's do the maths. And I warn you now, the maths does not say what you want it to say. 77th FIFA Congress. Rabat, Morocco. The 17th and 18th of March, 2027. Infantino wants a 4th term. 211 member associations. 1 vote each. Andorra counts exactly the same as Brazil. The number he needs to survive? 106. 211 member associations. 1 vote each. Iceland equals Brazil. 106 wins it. UEFA has 55. Furious, organized, loud. And 55 is nowhere near 106. Because while Europe was declaring war, CONMEBOL, Mexico, Argentina, and a wall of African federations were declaring loyalty. That's the ugly truth of FIFA democracy. Europe has the money, the leagues, the players, and the outrage. It does not have the votes. Which is why Javier Tebas declaring the Infantino era over is a prediction, not a fact. So where's the real danger? Not the ballot box. Washington. The House Judiciary Committee wants him to appear. A congressman calls it a smash-and-grab scam. The European Parliament wants its own probe. The House Judiciary Committee wants him to testify. The European Parliament wants a probe. And UEFA now wants his entire 16-year record at Nyon reopened. An 8-year-old HR file doesn't end a presidency. But it hands every enemy he made in July a reason to keep digging. And believe me, they will. So tell me straight. Is this the beginning of the end for Gianni Infantino? Or does he walk into Rabat next March, win 106 votes, and laugh at every single one of us? Comments. Go.